Hello, it's Sunday, February 23rd, and yes, you guessed it, we're working on the air conditioning again, the chassis air conditioner. Um, I don't know what's going on. I already went around to all the really obvious places with my UV light, and I saw no visible leaks. I mean, there's little, I don't know if that'll show up down there. There's little signs, but it doesn't seem to me like that is really a leak. I don't know. You know, I think that's like residual stuff left over from, because if enough of the refrigerant leaked out of here that this thing wouldn't even kick on the clutch, there'd be a big mess because there's a bunch of refrigerant in this system. So, you know, we're doing the preliminary checks before I've even cranked it up and before I've even put my gauges on. We checked ground. I've got my test light here on positive power, and if I touch any ground anywhere, the light comes on. And that was the quickest and easiest thing to do. I've got ground on this side of what activates the coil and ground on the other side, which means, well, let me see what that means. Unplug this thing. So if I connect my test light to this wire right here, it's not getting any power. So when this is connected, power, ground, I guess we could say, is going through the coil and back to this and giving a ground to the light. So we got continuity through the coil. And then a few minutes ago, well, I could just do that check again. Hold on. All right, I just got a little jumper wire here, and I hooked it onto the power supply. Oopsie, right there. And I can take this probe, and if I touch it to this guy right there, okay, we got clutch activation. So mechanically, the clutch is fine. I kind of think that there's a control system problem because I was super meticulous on all my repairs that I did last time with all the plumbing. But now we're at the point where I'm going to put the gauges on it and see if we got pressure in the system. Okay, so I already unscrewed the caps. I'm going to wipe these things off. I don't want any dirt to get into my manifold connectors. Alright, here's the blue one, which is low side. I've always found it very peculiar that they made the low side the small connector. You know, in hydraulics, high pressure is always like a smaller stuff. I don't know. I guess they dumbed this stuff down for mechanics or something when they first decided to come up with this. All right, I guess all I needed to really hook up one. So let's make sure my gauge valves are shut. Okay, everything is shut and all the hoses are tight. And I'm going to turn this in until I hear it hiss. Ruh-roh, Raggy. That sounds like there was no gas at all in there. Oh my God. That can't be right. Let's turn in the high side. Wow. Nothing. Holy cow. After all that we did on that last fix, every bit of my refrigerant leaked out somewhere. It's completely empty. That's very, very disappointing. All right, so, oh my God. Let me get a refrigerant bottle and put some pressure on the system and see if we can figure out where it went. This is the first time this system's ever leaked out like this, so this is concerning. You know, usually it's always, yeah, it leaked down a little bit, and gassed it up, and it'd be fine for the longest time. But this is bone dry, so okay, for as low as this is, I would think I would hear it leaking somewhere. Okay. Let me go open up the valve on the connector for the high side. Okay, now we're reading. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more. It only had 10 psi in there. This is very discouraging, because with my UV light, I'm really not seeing any solid evidence of a leak anywhere. I just heard the low pressure cutout switch. Man, I think I am hearing something. Let me crawl underneath there. All right, we have an audible leak right here. Would you look at that? How in the world could that be? That is crazy. That should not have leaked. All right, well, in a way we got some good news here. Gosh, we're gonna assume that that's the only leak for now, till we find out otherwise. I'm really surprised that I messed up that seal, or something's messed up with the compressor where the seal sits or something. I mean, I know I put a new O-ring in there. It's too late in the day right now. It's already about 6 o'clock. It's time for dinner here. Tomorrow or in the near future, we're going to pick back up on this and open that thing up and see what we could see, why that puppy was leaking, replace the O-rings again. Maybe I put the wrong darn O-ring in there. It was too thin. I don't know. But so the good news is, in all likelihood, it's not a problem with the electrical system and the computerized controls system, and probably not the compressor, which is the big dollar item, and I wouldn't want to have to deal with the guys I bought this from. It's only a few months old. I'm trying to do a warranty on that thing. Yeah. All right. I'm hemming and hawing, but that's it for the day. Okay, we're getting into it this morning. It's Tuesday. Took our intake hose off so we could see better. I'm trying to get a glimpse of what's going on here. I verified, you know, that this is at least tight enough that nothing's moving here. And I noticed it looked like this had a little bit of a bow to it. So I got a straight edge, and sure enough, there's a tiny bit of bow. It may not show up on the camera here. Tiny bit of bow in that little bracket there that holds these two guys in. which I don't think should matter because these guys want to sit flat. You know, maybe it's pushing more on the edge here, but this whole surface of this thing where it touches the compressor would tend to make it want to sit flat even if it was pushed unevenly. And it looks like they're fully seated, but I think I'm going to make another one of these brackets, a thicker one, for starters anyway. And all right, let's pull this guy off and see what we can see here. I do remember looking at these things really closely when I put this together. And one of them was a little questionable, and I think I swapped one of these with a spare that I had someplace. But let's get that off real careful like and inspect it. Okay, there was no pressure in there at all, and I had left 10 psi in the system, and this bolt was fairly tight. Gosh, it looks okay to me. So there isn't much. This looks like the O-ring is squished. Like maybe it should be green O-rings instead of these black ones. All right, let's see what I got. Okay, the O-rings are flattened out. So that's the failure. I guess that one is more flat than this one. That must have been the high side one. I don't have the right ones. This is the closest I have. They're a little bit too small. I could stretch them on there, but I've ordered a whole kit of these last night just in case, because I didn't think I had them. Whoopsie. And that's going to arrive today. And I'm also going to take a trip out to Mako Hose and see if they've got these, just because I can. I did find these online, and I could just order them. I don't know, these things don't look bad where the O-ring sits. Let me polish them up. All right, let's see if I can get this to clean up a little bit. I don't think it really needs this. Sorry for the crappy video. I'm kind of trying to watch what I'm doing here, not rip my arm off. I think I would like to buy new ones just for the sake of it. I mean, the failure was the O-rings. I already double checked, and the area on these things where the O-ring sits is pretty clean. All right, I'm going with it, man. I've got new O-rings. These are the exact ones that belong in there, and they're the green, more resilient type. And I forget the name of it. It's a different label nomenclature for the type of rubber that these are made out of, the green ones. And they're designed for higher temperatures, so evidently I used crappy O-rings and I paid the price. So we're going to go with this installation. These things cleaned up nice enough for me. They don't look perfect, but they look really good. I lost the other one now. Oh, right here. So what it shows is, you know, like some staining and where the plating has tarnished, but it feels smooth. And that little mark right there on that one, that is inside the diameter where the O-ring sits. So, you know, it looks kind of rough there, but it feels completely smooth, even with my fingernail, whatever I got left of. So what I'm going to try doing is, I've got this stuff. This is made for air conditioning systems. And you read on the back, you can use it with gaskets and whatnot. So I'm going to, instead of using oil on these O-rings to seal them up, I'm going to use this stuff. I've used it before, and I like the way it works. It stays kind of gooey and pasty and is designed for high pressure applications. Yada yada. Okay, so that's the plan, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, couldn't get my head down in here to get a good look, so I'm using my phone. That is completely, absolutely clean. All right, we are using this little brush here to spread it. I got an even coat on there. It's really, really sticky stuff, more so than like STP. And we've got these guys installed, and it's pretty darn clean. I think I can feel it on there. Could probably wipe a little bit more on that. Well, I'm calling that done. I was going to make a new one of these, but I decided instead I just flipped it over and tightened it down, and it looks fine. I mean, this is the original equipment stuff here, so that there's no reason to recreate the wheel. I do tend to go over the top sometimes, but this sealer stuff I think is going to do the trick. It really had a good feel to it. It's really gummy stuff, and made for this, so you know. So next we're going to I'm going to soap this down with some simple green and wash away what last time I thought was inconsequential were some little tiny little speckles of the evidence of the fluorescent dye down here. I'm going to check this at night too, where I can see really good, and any indication of dye spattered around here I'm going to rinse off. I mean, I couldn't see any at all the last time I checked. There's nothing around here, just the tiniest bit was down here. But we're going to check that one more time and degrease, pressure wash that area, so I won't get a false indication in the future, because I won't remember this. Next, we're going to evacuate the system. I'm going to give it about an hour on vacuum, and we're going to charge it up. That tank's empty. I thought we'd get about 2 pounds out of it. I've got the specified amount of refrigerant, which is 7.15 pounds. And it looks like the pressures are low, but it's really cool day today. So we're gonna leave it there. And I think it's gonna be just perfect. It's blowing nice and cold on the inside. We're gonna have to just wait for a hot day and make sure it's got the capacity, which I'm certain it will. It did last time when I put that amount of refrigerant in there. We've got no leaks right now at the compressor. So we'll see if that was the only leak we had.